Under the stormy skies of 19th-century Europe, a brilliant mind was quietly being molded into a revolutionary force in social science. Max Weber was born on April 21, 1864, in Erfurt, Prussia, a city steeped in history and fraught with the tensions of tradition and modernity. The home he was born into buzzed with lively debates, intellectual pursuits, and conflicting ideals. His father, a respected civil servant and liberal politician, mingled in circles that discussed art, philosophy, and the emerging ideas of progress, while his mother's devout Calvinist values anchored the family in strict moral traditions. This duality, the interplay between worldly ambition and spiritual austerity, laid the groundwork for Weber's lifelong quest to understand the forces that shape society. From a young age, Max was enveloped in an environment that prized education and ambitious debate. His childhood was not merely a series of lessons in reading and arithmetic. It was an immersive experience where courtly discussions, debates on ethics, and heated political conversations were an everyday affair. These early experiences nurtured not only his intellectual curiosity, but also a deep-seated awareness of the often contradictory forces at work within modern society. In a narrative that is as much about internal battlefields as it is about the external world, Weber's early years foreshadowed the complexities of his later scholarly inquiries. Max Weber's academic journey began at Heidelberg University in 1882, where he initially pursued the study of law, a domain that promised rigorous intellectual challenge and a pathway towards societal influence. Yet, the young scholar's curiosity was not confined by legal texts alone. He soon found himself exploring history, economics, and philosophy. His academic odyssey continued at the University of Berlin and briefly at Göttingen, where the intersection of tradition and modern thought provided fertile ground for his emerging ideas. As Weber navigated the corridors of these illustrious institutions, he rapidly distinguished himself through his prodigious intellect and sheer determination. The awarding of his doctorate in 1889, following a dissertation on Roman agrarian history, signaled an early mastery of empirical analysis combined with profound theoretical insight. However, Weber's ascent to academic prestige was not without personal sacrifice and inner conflict. Amid the rigors of scholarly life and the high expectations of an intellectually vibrant family, Weber grappled with bouts of depression, severe anxiety, and insomnia, conditions that forced him into prolonged periods of artistic and academic silence. These struggles, intertwined with the pressing demands of intensive research and teaching, rendered his journey as one marked by both luminous triumphs and profound personal challenges. Notably, Weber's personal life bore both joy and sorrow. His marriage in 1893 to Marianne Schnittger, herself a formidable intellectual force and an early feminist thinker, not only complemented but also deepened his understanding of social roles and power dynamics. Marianne's insights and editorial perseverance ensured that Weber's rich theoretical legacy reached posterity even during periods when he himself felt overwhelmed by inner turmoil. Perhaps no work encapsulates Weber's genius better than his seminal treatise, The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism. Published during an era when industrial capitalism was rapidly transforming society, this work presents a daring synthesis of religious thought and economic behavior, challenging the prevailing notion that economic systems evolve solely through material incentives. Weber argued that the ascetic values of certain Protestant denominations, particularly Calvinism, inadvertently paved the way for the capitalist ethos, a spirit defined by disciplined labor, frugality, and a rational approach to professional life. Instead of viewing capitalism as merely an economic system driven by profit, Weber illuminated how a deep-seated cultural revolution laid the foundational mindset necessary for its emergence. He explored with meticulous historical detail how the Calvinist precepts of predestination, self-discipline, and a calling imbued ordinary labor with sacred significance. By framing this religious fervor as a catalyst for economic modernization, Weber offered a groundbreaking perspective that bridged the gap between theological ethics and economic praxis. The methodology underpinning this work was as innovative as its conclusions. Drawing on historical narratives, statistical data, and comparative studies, Weber constructed an argument that was both analytical and interpretative. His approach combined empirical investigation with an incisive critique of modernity, a mode of inquiry that would later be pivotal in the field of sociology. The work, fraught with rich metaphors and persuasive logic, not only incited academic debate but also captured the imagination of a broader audience, making it one of the most influential texts in the social sciences. As Weber's reputation solidified through his writings on economics and religion, his attention turned towards the intricacies of political life. In essays such as Politics as a Vocation and Science as a Vocation, Weber dissected the nature of power, the responsibilities of leadership, and the ethical dilemmas inherent in modern governance. With piercing analysis, he examined the bureaucratic structures that characterized emerging nation-states, and argued that modern authority rested not on divine right or charismatic rule alone, but on rational legal principles. For Weber, the essence of politics lay in the constant negotiation between individual ethics and the pragmatic demands of leading a society. His lectures on these topics delved into the moral quandaries facing public officials, balancing ideals of justice against the often harsh realities of power. In a manner that was both prophetic and painfully realistic, Weber forecasted the tensions that would later define 20th century governance, where the clash between bureaucratic rationality and democratic values became ever more apparent. This exploration into authority was deeply personal as well as academic. Weber's own struggles with anxiety and self-doubt rendered him sensitive to the burdens of responsibility. His keen observations on the nature of power continue to resonate in contemporary debates about the legitimacy of state institutions, the ethics of public service, and the balance between individual liberties and collective security. Max Weber's journey, rich with both luminous insights and personal tribulations, left an indelible mark on the fields of sociology, political science, and economics. His pioneering methods, blending historical analysis, empirical research, and philosophical inquiry, redefined the study of social dynamics at a time when the world was transitioning into modernity. Weber challenged the entrenched paradigms of his day by insisting that social phenomena could not be reduced merely to economic determinants or religious doctrines. Instead, they must be understood through the interplay of culture, belief, and institutional power. The legacy of Weber's work is evident not only in academic circles, but also in the everyday discourse of modern societies. His elucidation of bureaucracy has become a touchstone for analyses of modern administrative systems, while his insights into the rationalization of society continue to influence debates on globalization, cultural homogenization, and the crises of modernity. Moreover, his discussions of authority, charisma, and the ethics of leadership provide enduring frameworks for understanding the dynamics of power across different contexts, from governmental institutions to corporate boardrooms. During his final years, Weber continued to refine his thoughts, even as he battled recurring bouts of ill health. His untimely death in 1920, precipitated by pneumonia following the Spanish flu, marked not the end of his influence but the beginning of a long-lasting intellectual journey for generations of scholars. His posthumously published work, Economy and Society, stands as a monumental synthesis of his life's inquiry into the nature of modern civilization, a work that remains a cornerstone of sociological theory. In piecing together the mosaic of Max Weber's life and works, one is struck by the profound interplay between the personal and the theoretical. Weber's early exposure to a world of intellectual rigor, the turbulence of familial expectations, and the subsequent battles with inner demons all contributed to a mind that sought to unravel the mysteries of human society. His pursuit was not merely academic, it was a quest to comprehend the forces that drive the modern world, forces that resonated with the rapid transformations of the industrial age and continue to reverberate in today's globalized society. Weber's analytical prowess and his ability to synthesize diverse fields of inquiry transformed him into a timeless commentator on the human condition. His work, enriched by vivid historical context and bolstered by sharp critical insights, continues to serve as an essential guide for understanding the complexities of authority, the evolution of capitalism, and the eternal tension between tradition and innovation. The echoes of his thought challenge readers, scholars, and policymakers alike to consider how belief systems, economic imperatives, and political structures intersect to shape the course of history. Max Weber's life was a tapestry interwoven with moments of brilliant clarity and profound personal struggle. From the vibrant intellectual environment of his early years to the fervent scholarly debates that defined his mature works, Weber's legacy is that of a relentless seeker of truth in an ever-changing world. His documentary biography is not merely a chronicle of dates and publications, but a narrative of a mind enraptured by the complexities of society. A mind that dared to question and redefine the very foundations upon which modern civilization rests. The story of Max Weber invites us to embark on a reflective journey, a journey that challenges contemporary society to reconcile its traditions with the imperatives of progress. His insights into the Protestant ethic, the nature of bureaucracy, and the ethics of leadership continue to illuminate the pathways along which modern societies evolve. In remembering Weber, one is reminded that the quest for understanding is as much an inward journey as it is a scholarly pursuit, and that the interplay between personal experience and intellectual exploration can yield ideas that transcend time. Max Weber's enduring legacy dwells in the shadow he cast over the academy and the public sphere alike. It calls upon each generation to question, explore, and reimagine the societal constructs that govern our lives. His life story, marked by personal sacrifice and intellectual brilliance, remains a testament to the transformative power of ideas, a testament still very much alive in the discourse of our modern world.